Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about a personal experience, something really probably a little bit strange, might seem a little bit strange, and it's something that I did probably about 3 years ago, but something I've been trying to do for many years, and I don't talk about this on this channel at all, and I did talk about it when I did the podcast with Harrison. And I did get a couple of people commenting, going, well, why would you want to do that? But I'm going to explain why I did want to do it and how I did it instantly when I let go of trying to do it. And it was something I've been trying to do for years. So all it was changing my accent, because I used to have a very strong West Country accent, and I'd never thought anything of it. It never bothered me. It was just there because I live in the West Country. Of course I did. Didn't even consider it to be anything. And then one day, many years ago, my best friend at the time, her husband had gone for a job at her company, and he didn't get the job based on his accent because he had a strong West Country accent, and they couldn't believe it, and he couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe it. Having the conversation, I thought, that's just dreadful. You know, you can't not give somebody a job because of their accent. But it made me acutely aware of my accent all of a sudden. I became acutely aware of it, and I was in business at the time. I was working with various different people from all parts of the country, and I became acutely aware that maybe it was a really not a good accent. And you know, I think they'd made some comment like it made him seem a bit thick or something, which is just terrible thing to say, but it played on my mind, and it kind of got in there, got into my subconscious. So I did become, and I'd never been aware of my accent before, and I started trying to speak better. But I didn't really know what I was doing. So what I was actually doing was just speaking slightly better, but still had this very strong accent. And I thought, and I was constantly trying. So every time I was speaking to a business client, I was thinking about it, I was aware of it. Oh, you don't sound too West Country. So constantly trying to cover up this West Country accent. And it was hard work. And then I would do it during the day, and I would come home, and then I would just go back into it because that was my natural position, my natural accent, and I would just go straight back into it. So all of the time it was this huge effort. I mean, it didn't play on my mind so much to the point where it was really stressing me out or anything. I just, again, all I can say is I became acutely aware of it and thinking that people were thinking less of me because of it. And as I'm saying this, if you have a West Country accent, there's nothing wrong with the West Country accent at all. I find it very comforting hearing other people speak with West Country accent, and occasionally mine will come out, I think, in certain words that I say. I do think it's actually a really lovely, comforting accent, and when other people are around me talking in the accent, I love it. I just don't have it anymore, and this is how I don't have it anymore. I mean, I do slightly, you might say, well, I can tell you're from the West Country, but to me, if you could hear how I spoke before and how I spoke now, it was completely black and white. It's just so different. So I was constantly trying. Basically, I was in trying mode, and I just thought, I cannot do it. I can't make it natural. It's just such hard work all of the time. So I'm thinking about what I'm saying all of the time. How am I coming across? How am I sounding? And one day I just got really fed up with it. And I thought, oh, stuff it, sod it, I can't do it. This is how I talk, and that's that. Hard luck to people. If they don't like it, they don't like it. Too bad. And then the next day I watched an interview with, it was a singer in the UK called Pixie Lott, and she was talking, she's got a beautiful speaking voice. And I thought, oh, I love her speaking voice. I'd love to have a speaking voice like that. I'd love to sound like that. I didn't think anything of it. I was not trying to manifest it at all. And then pretty much the next day, I started speaking differently, and I thought, what am I doing? And I noticed that I was doing things like saying good morning, and in the West Country, we tend to say good morning, so we don't put a G on the end. And naturally, we just don't. And I just suddenly noticed that I was doing that, and I thought, I didn't know where it came from. I didn't put it together with having this thought about Pixie Lott of wishing that I could speak like that. Didn't think anything of it at all, but I noticed that I just kept doing it, and I thought, God, I'm not even trying, this is just happening, this is weird. And then about a week later, that was just how I spoke. This is how I speak now. And I don't put any effort in, I'm not trying to sound different, it just is the way that I talk now. And I almost want to put up something of how I spoke before, but I don't think I should. I've got lots of old video footage of me before, and it just is, I just listened to it and I think, oh my God, I cannot believe that that was me, and that now I just sound so completely different than I used to. But again, it's no effort, it happened naturally. As soon as I let go of trying to do it, it just happened. So I changed something about me, a core part of me changed overnight when I released resistance. And that's what this video is about. It's not about whether a West Country accent is good or not, because again, like, I do love it, and I love the fact now that in the media there's a lot more of it. It's Josie Gibson, for example, is a prime example, and I love listening to her. I love the fact that it is more, our accent is now in the media, and it's kind of doesn't have that, and it's not a negative thing, you know. I do love that, but I just don't have that accent anymore. If I tried to speak like that, I mean, I just couldn't do it. If I tried to go back to the way that I used to talk, I couldn't do it, because now this is me, and it pretty much happened overnight. And I didn't do anything at all apart from wish that I could speak like Pixie Lott. I mean, I don't sound like Pixie Lott, of course, but she pronounces her words nicely. And I guess that was the part of that my subconscious picked up on, that that's what I needed to do, but I didn't try to do it. It just happened naturally. So the reason was, I mean, it's kind of a rubbish reason really, because it was for validation, wasn't it? That I did it initially, that I wanted to do it. And perhaps that's the whole problem, because it was for validation from other people that I had a much more neutral accent, and that I would maybe appeal to more people in business. And maybe that's a part of the reason where there was so much resistance and why it didn't actually work. But when I thought I would stuff it, that if they don't like it, then hard luck, you know. If somebody doesn't like my accent, doesn't want to work with me because of my accent, that's their problem, that's not mine. All of a sudden, I felt that huge relief, and I thought, oh, I don't have to try anymore. I just speak how I speak, and that's that. And then look what happened. And I don't speak like I used to speak at all. But I like the way that I speak now, I really do. I like the fact that I know I speak fast and people complain about the speed at which I speak, but again, that's just too bad, because that's me. I get it when English is not your native language. When I listen to people speaking really fast and they have an accent, I find it really hard to follow. So I do understand that I am quite hard to follow sometimes, but that is just my natural pace. But as far as my speaking voice is concerned, it's completely changed, and it changed overnight. So you can change something about your core personality, your core being, something that's really seems so ingrained that there's no way it can change really super quickly when you release resistance. So again, it's a very kind of basic manifestation, isn't it? It means nothing at the end of the day, but the whole way that it happened was quite amazing to me, and that I can now speak completely differently, how I always wanted to be able to speak, but without any effort whatsoever. This is it. This is the way that I talk, and it happened overnight, and it changed. So I'm talking here about effortless manifestation. That's completely effortless, although it wasn't, because it took bloody years of me trying to, and again, like I said, I think because it was a validation thing, why would I even care? You know, now I look at that and think, why did you care? So what? If anybody thought that, then, you know, too bad. You don't want to work with people that won't work with you because they don't like your accent. You know, it seems stupid now, but it was just something that was implanted in me. But now, you know, and then it happened whilst I didn't even care about it anymore. I didn't even care. I thought, how bloody ridiculous is that? Putting myself through this for what? And then it changed overnight. So anyway, I hope that this was useful. Manifestation and changes that we want to make, it's when we're in flow that they happen. They don't happen when we're in fight mode. So when we're pushing against something, it doesn't happen. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be the most basic thing. If you wanted a free cup of coffee and you were pushing against the current, you wouldn't get your free cup of coffee. Just a tiny thing, isn't it? A free cup of coffee. It wouldn't happen. It happens when you're in flow. So it happens when you take your eye off the ball, basically, and you just think, oh God, whatever. That's when it happens.